Hi guys, it's Cassandra, and today I'm going to be doing my May book haul. So this book haul is going to be a bit shorter than my typical book hauls, and that's because in the month of May, I haven't been reading any new books, so I haven't really been buying a whole lot of books either. I ended up buying 6 books in the month of May, and I also did find another 6 books sitting around in my house that I'm not sure how I got them, but they're also books that I acquired not in May but previously that I haven't hauled, so I'll share those with you guys as well. So I'm gonna start with a couple of books that I actually bought at the end of April before I realized that I was falling into a slump, and those books are Devil's Daughter and Chasing Cassandra by Kleypas. This is I think it's 5th and 6th book in the Ravenel series. So the Ravenel series is the historical romance series, and it's by Kleypas, who's one of the only authors that I've actually read in that genre. But her previous series, the Wildfire series, I read and I liked it. I think it was in April I started this series, which it starts with Cold Hearted Break, which I talked about in my April wrap up. And then I'm currently on the 2nd book in the series, Marrying Winterborn. So that's why I ended up picking up these, because these are some of the newer books in the series. People seem to really like these. So I'm hoping to get to these eventually. I don't know when, probably not anytime soon, but definitely sometime this year. Like I said, I don't read a whole lot of historical romance, but this author seems to be one that has worked for me pretty well in the past. And because of my reading slump, when I was doing my book of the month order, I wanted to get a few lighter reads. So I picked out 3 lighter reads from the book of the month collection, which I'll share for you guys. So the first book that I ended up picking up is Well Met by Jen Deluca. So this is a contemporary romance novel, if you can't tell from the title, and apparently it's set at a local Renaissance fair. I don't really know very much about this, but apparently it's one of the most loved books from the Book of the Month Club, so I decided to pick it up and hopefully I'll like it. I do like a good contemporary romance every once in a while, and these types of books usually work for me very well when I'm in a reading slump. So I feel like once I'm trying to come out of the reading slump, books like this that are faster and just easy to read will be perfect. The next one that I decided to pick up is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. So I've heard a lot of really great things about this one in particular. It is also a contemporary romance novel, and if you couldn't tell from the cover, it's about an interracial couple, which I'm really excited for. I've heard really, really great things about this one, and that it's actually really funny, and I'm excited to find out. And the last Book of the Month Club pick that I decided to pick up is One Day in December by Josie. So last month, in the month of April, my Book of the Month pick was The Two Lives of Lydia Bird by Josie, and I ended up reading it and I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved the way the writing was done. I thought it was really fast-paced and gripping, but at the same time extremely emotional, and I really enjoyed it. I decided to pick up the previous book that this author published, and that's One Day in December, which I believe this one is also a little speculative in the sense that it's about one true loves. Apparently these two people see each other one day on a train and instantly fall in love, which is a weird concept that seems unbelievable, but her last book also had a weird concept that seemed unbelievable, and yet it was executed so perfectly that I 100% believed it. So I'm hoping that this one is similar to that and that I'll end up liking it as well. And the last book that I decided to buy in the month of May was Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. So this month, Suzanne Collins has been my hero, because I've read pretty much all of the books that she's written in this month so far. Mind you, I had previously read all of these books. I just reread them in May, and I've realized just how good of a writer she is, because she manages to fit so much emotional tension and action and everything into such pretty short books. This is actually probably one of the thickest of her books that I've seen, and I'm excited for it. My recent reread of Mockingjay made me more excited for this one, because this book is a prequel to the Hunger Games trilogy, and it's following Snow when he was a lot younger. And in Mockingjay, there are a few scenes of President Snow that make me interested in his backstory, so I'm excited to get his backstory in this book, and we'll see how I like it. I'm pretty excited for this though. Suzanne Collins is one of those authors that I'll read pretty much anything that she publishes, and while before my reread of Mockingjay recently, I didn't care that much for President Snow, I am actually really intrigued now, and I'm excited to see what his backstory has for us. So like I said, not my usual haul, not even like type of books that I would normally buy, but they're easy reads that I feel like could potentially help me transition out of a reading slump a lot easier. But I also have 6 books that I've just been kind of sitting around in my house, like in random places, that I got like over the course of the last like 6 months or so that I never hauled for you guys. So I'm gonna do that now. Mind you, I don't know very much about these books. I just got them because they were pretty cheap. So the first one is Good Guys by Stephen Brust. So apparently this book is about a black man who was shot by a cop for jaywalking like multiple times, which is terrible. And he was supposed to have died from them shots, like they were lethal, but he's brought back to life, which is incredibly intriguing. And I'm excited to see what it's about. Like, I'm actually really intrigued by this book now, so it might make it up higher on my TBR. But yeah, that's what this book is about, which sounds very interesting to me. So the next book that I found in my house was Glass Town by Stephen Savile. Apparently this is like a historical fantasy novel that's set in the 1920s in England, and there's something about a thriller going on. I think there's a disappearance and we have to find out what happened to the person, which is interesting. We'll see. Maybe I'll end up reading this one. I've never been a fan of the 1920s, but that's like the American 1920s, you know, the flapper era and everything. Like, everyone seems to love the 1920s. I personally don't care for it that much, but it could be interesting in this book with some of the other aspects of the story. The other book that I found was All Our Wrong Todays by Elan Mastai. So this is a book that I actually really considered reading last month when I was reading more books like time travel related, but apparently this is a book that is kind of like about a utopian society of what like people would have expected technology to be able to do for them. And apparently one of the characters creates a time machine to come to what our world is, which seems like a dystopian to him, which I think would be a really interesting point of view to read from. So I'm definitely excited for this one as well. So the next one that I got was Maze Master by Kathleen O'Neill Gear. So this book apparently is about a retrovirus that will be catastrophic for humanity. I recently had a weird experience with apocalyptic style books from like health related things because it was a little too realistic, but I feel like this one is different enough from what is going on right now that I could potentially really like this one. So I don't know, maybe I'll pick this up soon, maybe not, but it seems intriguing as well. So the next one that I got was The Gone World by Tom Sweterlitsch? I don't know how to pronounce his name. But anyway, so this one is set in kind of like a modern day today US, and it's a thriller where there's like this missing person, but there is like secret spaceships that are involved in here too. Again, this is another one, like I know almost nothing about it, but it sounds intriguing and I've been meaning to read more sci-fi anyway. I think this is sci-fi. I mean, secret spaceships sounds like a sci-fi novel to me. I will get to this probably sometime this year and hopefully it'll be as intriguing as it sounds. And the last book that I'm going to be talking about is In the Region of the Summer Stars by Stephen R. Lawhead. So this is actually an author that I've heard of before, that I've heard really good things about, and it's a new Celtic fantasy apparently. I'm pretty intrigued by that because I haven't read any like specifically Celtic fantasy, but I've been intrigued with their culture in the past and I'm excited to see what this brings. And it's about like tribes and stuff like that, but the main character is actually cast out of his tribe, so it's like an adventure story for this one character, which just sounds like fun, and I wanted to try this author's work, so I'm excited to get to this one. This is probably the one that I'm the most intrigued by, but like I said, I don't know very much about any of these last 6 books that I mentioned to you guys. So if you've read any of these books, let me know down in the comments because I would love to discuss with you guys. I'm actually changing up my uploading schedule, so I'll be uploading on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So consider subscribing, and if you want to be notified as soon as I upload, you can click that little bell icon. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.